Now, the ANC has met with black professionals in Sandton in a bid to clear up what it has described as a misunderstanding relating to the ANC NEC members Senzo, Mchunu and Public Enterprises Minister Pravin Gordhan. Now, last week, the Black Management Forum, the BMF, hit out at the two after it was reported that in the city press that had blamed the failure of Eskom on black managers. The ANC then weighed in on the issue, criticizing the two for the alleged comments. However, Gordhan denied the claims and demanded an apology from the ANC in a letter addressed to the Secretary General Ace Magashule. The apology was then forthcoming from the party after it said that it had ascertained after an investigation that their leaders had not made such utterances. Well, joining us now in studio to tell us a little bit more about the interactions between the ANC and black professionals in the country, I'm now joined in studio by acting national spokesperson of the ANC, Dakota, Legoete, and Mr. Andile, Nomlala, who's the president of the BMF. Thanks very much, gentlemen, for joining us. Welcome to the program.
Welcome, Peter.
All right, so a lot's been in the news for, this spat between black professionals, the ANC. He said, didn't say, apologies came through. Let's start at the beginning. Was it your impression as the BMF that disparaging remarks had been made against black professionals in the country? Or in your view, has this misunderstanding been sorted out?
Look, let me just give a background, Peter. The issue with us is that we had the statement obviously from the city press, but the offense that we took was particularly on the fact that ANC, as a governing party, they put together cabinet, and that cabinet puts together a board, and that board appoints executives. That's how the processes work. Now, it became very sensitive that an NEC member of ANC would then suggest that black professionals, who most of them are actually, if you understand and you follow the state capture, the individuals that are linked or are being named there and are being accused of all sorts of things, you'd find that there was an orchestrated plan from first sometimes removing a board of a state-owned enterprise, and after that, that board will purge honest, ethical, good governance type of black professionals in those state-owned enterprises. And before you know it, the floodgates of corruption were opened. Now, the offense that we took was based on that then ANC can then come and play holier than thou when they know that behind the scenes, with the processes of board appointments and the processes that the boards purge black professionals, they ended up putting wrong professionals. But also as the BMF, we stand firm that even those black professionals that were put under duress by politicians who ended up succumbing into being part of the state capture, if there's any criminality against them, they must be brought to book. Their own ethical standing must never be excused by the fact that they couldn't withstand the pressure. They must be charged and they must face the music. But politicians can't play innocent game in this thing. And what we now demand, in fact, is that let's not only consider professionals that are linked to political alignment or political affiliation, as it is the case, cadre deployment. Let's now try to find ethical, good standing black professionals that have the necessary skills to run these state-owned enterprises. I just saw on my way to here the resignation of an acting CEO of PRASA. And those black professionals that resign must maybe give detail of the reasons why they are resigning, so that we can really deal with the matters, because sometimes we have to learn through the media and through grapevine exactly what was behind the scenes. They must come and account.
Okay, it does seem then, is it from what we're reading and the statements that have come out after your own investigation, did the city press get it wrong then? Or did they not understand what was being said?
Yeah, look, we will not for now say the city press got it wrong, because there is an audio clip to that particular effect that was circulated, which warranted us to enter into an initiative to repair the damage as well as build bridges with the black management forum, as well as some of the black professionals. Because in our case, as the African National Congress, the agenda of transformation to move society from one mobility to another, it's an exercise that is a lifelong process. And along the way, we'll stumble and fumble. Some of us as individual leaders, even as members. But what we need to understand is how our movement work. Amongst it is that we are a humble organization. We have to lead with humility and respect to our members and society in general. Because in the past, as the African National Congress, we have came across as being arrogant, as not listening, as not understanding. So when this matter started, it affected us as a movement in terms of our integrity and standing, and we had to go and engage these black professionals as part of renewal, because when we talk renewal, we mean doing things very differently from the past. If we were arrogant before, we have to humble ourselves and ensure that we
Let's talk about this engagement now, because a lot of people would have heard over the years terms such as clever blacks, which weren't endearing and perhaps created a bit of distance. Has this engagement this past week helped bridge any gaps that had come through? Let's start with you.
Look, I must say it out, Peter, that we are very satisfied with the fact that we ended up having an engagement. That one I cannot take away. And more so, particularly, look, sometimes as black professionals ourselves, we must take responsibility, because we get insulted as clever blacks, but there isn't a row that we made. We just silently shied away in our own little corners and didn't robustly engage the leadership of ANC in particular. Now, with this BMF that we are in, we are making every call very clear that we'll put fervent pressure on the political leadership to do the right things. We didn't call on the wrong things when the state capture things were happening. We didn't do anything in the past. Now we were called clever blacks. We didn't defend ourselves, and sometimes we not have to be babysitted for us to be able to survive. We must take things on. Black professionals in this country are the cornerstone of development.
I'm going to hurry us along because we're running out of time. But Mr. Legoete, I'm looking at the statement that's come through now, and I've got to be honest with you, a lot of the things that are here that you've agreed that are going to be done in terms of looking at procurement and ensuring that black professionals are given more work, etc., etc., isn't that covered under policy already? You know, when we talk about BEE, isn't that what this is about? So why is it not working?
Look, there's a loophole in some of the laws that we have adopted, be it a preferential procurement on a 90-10 system that is there. It does not favor less experienced small businesses, which mainly it's black. Secondly, on the BBBE points and other things, there has been manipulation, just like the fixing of the rent. Equally in BBBE, there has been fronting, which has not been good. Thirdly is that some of the small businesses have been suffocated by supply chain processes in government, in that they are not paid on time and many of them are collapsing. But secondly is that in any situation, be it in partnership or in any liquidation, black business, just like ordinary workers, they stand to suffer when such things are brought forward. So there is a loophole in the law, which we think engaging with the BMF and other role players is going to be important for us to close it, because so far there's manipulation, there's fronting, there are other levels of thuggerism and criminality that are occurring as a result of the loophole in the law.
All right, we've run out of time, but one of the things that I've often observed, which I found interesting, is that we've seen senior ANC politicians engaging white lawyers in high-profile cases. And we're talking about black professionals being available. Why is that? Because I would think that you'd be leading by example.
Look, you'll have to understand the issue of who gets to be appointed for a particular service. It's a matter that is decided through a supply chain process. And equally, depending on the panels of each department, if the panels, some of those companies, you would see a lawyer being white, but actually the company being black. If you look at the BBBE level, there would be level 1. And so how it got into that, it's a matter that still we have to investigate. And some of these things, there is manipulation, there is fixing, there is collusion in how they are done. And I think as a matter of fact, when we look better into the laws, we have to find a way in which we close all these particular loopholes to ensure that the laws are in line with the preamble of the Constitution, that we have to redress the imbalances of the past. It's an order from the Constitution. There's no if or buts about it.
All right. Gentlemen, unfortunately, time's not on our side, but thanks very much indeed for joining us on the program and sharing your thoughts with us. And yeah, it looks like a new beginning for both of you.
Yes, right. And we'll continue putting the pressure.
Thank you so much indeed.
Don't forget to vote the ANC, yeah?